Hi, this is Shaun. This is a quick tutorial showing the FBX game exporter in Maya to rapidly get multiple assets out of Maya into Unreal and make sure their pivot point will automatically be set correctly. I'm also going to make some comments about naming conventions, the setting up your separate UV channels for light mapping, and also collisions. So let's jump in and get started. So Maya will automatically, when you export using FBX, it'll automatically set the pivot point of objects by the origin. So if your objects are offset, you will not get the pivot points set correctly. But the game exporter can handle that. Also, another comment on Maya, the material that you use. Currently, they don't have a PBR material that will generate a roughness and metallic output, but it will handle color, normal mapping, and it'll generate, if you have a 2D placement node, it'll generate a texture coordinate index. Finally, I was generating, previously I was generating my own custom UV light maps and also sometimes even collision meshes in Maya, but now I'm just doing that all in Unreal. So let's just jump in and get started. So I'm going to select all of these objects and go to File, Export. Whoop, I'm not going to use the export selection. I'm going to use the game exporter. So a few comments on the game exporter. I almost always, whether I'm using just single export or using the game exporter, I always use the previous version of FBX. Typically, there's been issues, so it's just much safer using the previous version. Also, you can choose to snap all the objects to the origin as you're exporting. And finally, I'm fine with exporting to a single file. I'm using the Unreal naming convention of SM underscore for static meshes, and also the M underscore naming convention for the material. So let's export that. I'm going to export it just to the desktop, and then we'll go into Unreal. And let's import. And let's import all. You can see it brought in all of my assets. Let's double check the pivot point. Looks good. And now let's quickly take a look at the material it's created. It's created texture coordinate indexes as well as the color and normal map. So awesome. Let's take a look at the object and its collision mesh and its light map channel. So if you go under collision, simple collision, you can see the collision mesh. You could delete, you could create your own collision meshes in here or add additional collision meshes. So sometimes if you have a convex object, you're going to get funky collisions or it's not going to work correct. So you're going to have to delete that. And before I exit this tutorial, I'll point you out to the FBX documentation page that Unreal has. Finally, Unreal has been doing an excellent job now of auto-generating a separate UV channel for light maps. So that's great if you're going to have static meshes that are not dynamically lit. So that pretty much wraps things up. Quickly, let's point you out to the FBX static mesh pipeline page in Unreal. So that's useful in terms of anything you want to know about setting your pivot points, creating normal maps, the collisions and problems that you can generate or how you might want to approach, or even using sockets. So it's a useful page. All right, that pretty much wraps things up. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.